Hi everyone, I'd like to welcome you to PIEFA's National Ag Day webinar. Firstly, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pay our respects to elders past, present. We extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today or viewing this webinar. We're really excited today to bring you 3 short sessions in preparation for National Ag Day. We'll firstly hear from Jane Johns, who will present an overview of a specially made National Ag Day resource, and then I'll take you through some resources which are new to Primezone, and Sarah will then conclude with what's coming next for PIEFA and PIEFA's resources. We would like to thank our industry members and associate members for their support and allowing us to create resources on food and fibre for Australian classrooms. If you haven't accessed our 3 main areas, you can find resources on Primezone, which is our website, which houses all of our resources for teachers and for students. Primezone Academy, which is our free e-learning portal, where students are able to engage in lots of content about food and fibre education, and Career Harvest, where you can see scholarship information and opportunities about careers. Also, don't forget to sign up on PIEFA and become a school member. Before Jane starts and talks you through a really exciting resource that's been created, if you're not sure about what sorts of things we have available in Primezone and our resources, please reach out to our staff. We have card games and posters. We have lots of different hands-on activities, videos. We have super seed kits. We've got virtual tours. So lots and lots of engaging, really fun activities for students in primary and secondary classrooms that might be suitable for Ag Day, but certainly very usable across the course of your academic year. I'm going to pass on to Jane, who's going to provide you with an overview of the resource, which might be really, really usable in your primary and secondary classrooms for National Ag Day, but also throughout the course of the year. Thanks, Jane.
Thanks, Ali. As Ali mentioned, during this section, I'm going to chat to you about the primary and secondary resources that PIEFA has developed to support schools in celebrating National Ag Day this year. So the Together at the Table learning resources have been designed to support students in making meaningful connections between the people and processes involved in Australia's food and fibre production. So there are 2 versions of the resource that are available to download, one for Foundation to Year 6 classrooms and one for Year 7 to 10 classrooms. Both contain activities that are aligned to the Design and Technologies learning area of the Australian curriculum, and they both follow a similar format in supporting students to design a healthy, balanced family meal and a sustainable table setting that features Australian food and fibre products. So the resources contain step-by-step guidance for lesson delivery, which helps to support teachers of all experience levels when teaching food and fibre. So background information is included as well as detailed instructions so that teachers that may be new to the subject area feel really confident to be able to deliver this content to their students and effectively celebrate National Ag Day. Clear differentiation is included through scaffolded worksheets, collaborative learning tasks, as well as detailed extension opportunities, which are outlined in the teacher guide to ensure that these resources can be tailored to the individual needs of your students and also to your classroom context. Instructions are also provided for a flexible model of delivery. So lessons can be implemented across the course of a couple of days throughout National Ag Week, or tasks can be condensed into a whole day National Ag Day celebration, depending on time availability and the needs of your students. Thanks, Ali. We can flick to the next slide now. So to access these resources, visit the Primezone website and select National Ag Day from the PIEFA Programs and Projects drop-down menu, or you can also scan the QR code that's on your screen there, or you can click on the hyperlink. That's a useful tool there to get you straight to where you need to go. Thank you. All right, so what we'll do now is we'll have a chat about the specific activities that are featured in the resource to get an understanding of how these can be used in your classroom, but also adapted to the specific needs of your students. So both the primary and secondary lesson activities begin with a short setting the scene task which is a collaborative activity designed to activate students' prior knowledge about food and fibre industries in Australia. So working in small groups or in pairs, students are provided with food and fibre fact question cards, and they're challenged to quiz a partner or the members of their group about a range of different food and fibre facts to get them thinking about what they already know or what they might like to find out throughout their design investigation. For primary students that are requiring a bit of an additional challenge, the food and fibre fact cards from the secondary resource can be used here as an extension opportunity as well. Thanks, Ali. All right, so having a look at the primary design task now, as mentioned up the top, primary and secondary design tasks follow quite a similar format. However, there are opportunities for a more in-depth exploration throughout the secondary resource. So essentially, what students will do in the primary design activity is begin by selecting a variety of ingredients from the 5 food groups according to the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, using a scaffolded worksheet, which you can see at the back there. So it's a bit of a checklist type template, so that ensures that they've selected at least one ingredient from each of the 5 food groups. And this activity really just helps them to make connections between health, nutrition, and Australian ingredients. The second part of the design challenge asks students to design a sustainable table setting on which to serve their meal. And this helps them to investigate Australia's fibre industries. So that includes things like forestry, cotton, and the byproducts made from sugarcane, to get an understanding of how these sectors create a variety of biodegradable, sustainable products that we use in our daily lives. So once the students have come up with the selected ingredients and products that they'd like to use in their design, they then present this using the scaffolded template that you can see on your screen there by drawing and labelling the different parts of their design, so the different ingredients that they've used and the different products for their table setting. To bring this back together and to help students develop a bit of an understanding of the origins of food and fibre products that they are learning about, they're then tasked with drawing 3 different agricultural settings that helped to produce either the foods or fibres used in their design. So an example of this could include if a student's decided to add a bread roll as part of their menu design, then they might draw a picture of a wheat production system, so a broadacre wheat farm. If they use a cotton napkin as part of their table design, they might draw a picture of a cotton crop growing on a farm, just to help them to develop a bit of an understanding of the origins of food and fibre products. So it's a really great entry-level way of helping students to understand, the paddock to plate journey or the farm to fibre journey, depending on the products or ingredients that they've selected. Now, an additional extension opportunity for students in the older year levels for the primary design task is then to evaluate their design using an evaluation sheet with reference to the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. So as part of that activity, they need to tally up the number of ingredients that they've used from each of the 5 food groups, and then explore the recommended daily number of serves suggested for their age group, and then make modifications to their design to ensure that it aligns with the recommendations from the Australian Dietary Guidelines. So this is a really nice way of wrapping the design experience up and ensuring that students have a really concrete understanding of the nutritional importance of Australia's agricultural industries. Thanks, Ali. Next one. Thank you. All right. So as mentioned, the secondary design challenge follows a similar format. However, students are provided with a more in-depth design criteria as they move through the design process to help them gain a deeper understanding of the people and processes involved in Australia's food and fibre industries. So as part of their meal design, they must select at least one ingredient from each of the 5 food groups, and they need to use the suggested serving sizes from the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating to ensure that their meal is relevant and aligns with those guidelines. They're then provided with a scaffolded list of suggested products that are sustainable, made from Australian fibres, to help inspire their table design. and they present this design as an annotated diagram, and they can use a range of different modes to present this design, as long as they're highlighting all of the different ingredients and products that they've used. Now, the deeper exploration for secondary students comes in the form of research into the origins of the food and fibre products used as part of their design. So students are challenged to select one ingredient or one sustainable product from their design, and then conduct research to find out about the origins of that particular product. So doing a bit of research, they then learn about the stages of the supply chain, either from farm to fibre or paddock to plate, and use the template that you can see on your screen there to create a supply chain flowchart to demonstrate their understanding of the processes involved in the paddock to plate journey or farm to fibre journey. Following on from this, students then select 2 relevant careers to their selected supply chain and create short career profiles for those 2 careers, identifying the roles and responsibilities of each of these people, as well as their role in producing the food or fibre product that they have investigated further. So concluding the design task for secondary students, they are challenged to present their design, their supply chain flowchart, and the career profiles to the rest of the class. And that just provides them with the opportunity to communicate their understanding, but also to share different supply chains and different agricultural careers to those that have been investigated by their peers, and just provides a really great opportunity for that peer-to-peer learning. And it's a fantastic opportunity for them to get a really rounded understanding of the people and processes involved in Australia's agricultural industries. All right, next one. Thanks, Ali. So to support the delivery of the Together at the Table learning resources, 2 comprehensive teacher resource guides have been developed to assist teachers and students as they explore the connection between healthy, balanced eating, sustainable agricultural products and production, and the careers that support Australia's food and fibre industries. These guides provide curated links to a wide range of additional learning materials that are available on Primezone and can be used to guide student research throughout the design activities or to continue food and fibre learning in the classroom. The teacher resource guides are hyperlinked in the Together at the Table learning resources, but you can also access them on the National Ag Day Primezone landing page. So they can be used either as pre-learning, as learning throughout the design activity, or as post-learning. Each of the guides is organised into 2 main sections, which are aligned to the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. And Ali, if I could get you to flick to the next slide, we'll just have a quick look. So as you can see here, I've just got a bit of a short video to show you how the resources are formatted. Now, they're a really valuable tool for educators that may be new to the subject area, but also experienced educators, because they provide tables containing resources that are relevant to all of the different agricultural industries that PIEFA represents, and they're organised into sections based on selecting and preparing meals for healthy eating. So these include lessons, resources, and activities that are focused on nutrition, ingredient selection, and food preparation using Australian ingredients. And they're organised into our different member organisations, but specifically into the 5 food groups. So if a student is creating their meal design and they're on the hunt for a protein to include, but they're not sure which one they would like to add, they can have a look through, locate a particular ingredient, and then find out a bit more about how this ingredient can be used in meals, the nutritional value of the ingredient, and also explore some examples of industry links to recipes or some particular information about safe preparation and handling for that ingredient. Now, the second section of the resource guide contains a detailed table exploring the different careers and supply chains for various agricultural industries. And this is a really useful tool for students when exploring the supply chain and career processes involved in the second aspect of the design challenge. So teachers may wish to provide them with particular resources from the guide, or may provide them with direct access for them to scroll through and to find out a little bit more about their chosen ingredient or product there. So I will just summarise by saying that while these guides have been created to complement the Together at the Table resources, they're also really valuable teaching tools beyond National Ag Day, as they offer a really great starting point for new educators and as an extension tool for experienced teachers looking for some new food and fibre lesson ideas. They're a really fantastic curated selection of lessons that are industry specific and focused. So whether you want to provide students with guidance for research, or whether you want to have an exploration yourself for some future lesson ideas, they're a really fantastic tool to have a look at, and I'd highly recommend jumping online and downloading those. Thank you.
Thanks, Jane. That's great. So those resources, like Jade said, should give you a really good idea of what sorts of things we have on offer. But what I will do now is I'm just going to do a run through of just a short selection of resources that have been added to Primezone recently. So we've got lots more, but these are resources that, again, could be incorporated during Ag Day, or just incorporated into your food and fibre education classrooms. So what you're seeing on screen now is some amazing footage from the Vegetable in High Schools resource project. We were really lucky to be able to work with Veg Education, Hort Innovation and Think Digital to create resources, teacher guides, student worksheets, and this amazing virtual tour where there's 6 stops, and students are able to engage with each stop. It's all curriculum aligned. There's information on biosecurity, traceability, tech and innovation, and some beautiful footage about the supply chain. So a really usable resource from year 7 to 10, but easily incorporated into year 11 and 12 for product studies, and looking at on-farm operations as well, and possibly even just for year 5 and 6 as well. So this resource, all of these can be found through Primezone, but we can also access these through the Fresh Food Schools website as well. Pretty exciting today that we've actually released this. It's online and ready to go for primary school teachers. These are 3 lessons which focus on pollinators and pollination in the horticulture industry, and the huge importance of protecting our pollinators. So there's a variety of lessons aligned to digital design and technologies and science. The worksheets and the student activities are beautifully designed. There's great imagery, and the differentiated tasks could be looking at life cycles, the science of pollination, designing bee hotels, mapping tasks, looking at produce and pollinators and whereabouts in Australia that produce is typically produced as well. So this is a super exciting one, and Sarah will give you a sneak peek at another pollination resource in a little bit. We're continuing also to work with Meat and Livestock Australia to produce more materials for the Australian Good Meat education resources. So this can be accessed through Primezone and heading to Australian Good Meat website, or going there directly. And we now have resources that are longer lesson style plans, but also we've been working on the curriculum connections area. So these are for primary and secondary, and there's a range of posters and stimulus materials that can be downloaded, printed, put on the walls in classrooms, or just engaged with online. And for each poster, we have an accompanying student activity or worksheet that is curriculum aligned. So it gives flexibility, whether you're wanting to run a whole lesson about the red meat industry and areas, or just engage in one particular activity and showcase this in this way. So definitely worth checking out that website. Our latest card game, which are just continuing to be really, really popular in classrooms. They're collaborative, they've got great imagery, and it's a really lovely way that students can work together to learn about supply chains in different areas. This is for FRDC, and this particular card game is looking at wild catch and aquaculture and mapping different species to the areas within Australia that they can commonly be produced or found. So the instructions are included. There's a range of different activities that you can use the cards for, but super popular and a really lovely way to get kids looking at different images and different industries that are explored during the card games. We also have a new resource that's just come online for GRDC. So this is looking at cereal, oilseed and pulse production. And this is for years 7 to 10 students. And there's a nice hook where students will start by looking at a problem or a challenge within their school and learning about problem solving and what needs to be done to solve these challenges and who could help them. And then it leads into some of the challenges within the grains industry. So students look at things like climate constraints and crop diseases, but then lead into these amazing technologies and innovations that are helping to solve the challenges and learn about the people who are involved in creating these solutions as well. So it's a lovely 3-lesson series, and there's some great case studies which show kids, I guess, opportunities about what's being done in this particular industry. So that's definitely one to check out. We also have some great resources now for cane growers. So from years 5 all the way through to year 12, there are resources about different products that are produced from sugarcane, tech and innovation in this particular industry, and also a supply chain card game. So again, another great hands-on activity for this particular industry. And if you're looking for sustainable food and fibre production resources, these have been really well received. They're being very widely used by teachers at the moment. There are 5 lessons for year 7 to 8, 5 for 9 to 10, and 6 for year 11 and 12. So there are teacher guides, student worksheets, great case studies, but also a sustainability card game, lots of engaging videos about different careers within this agribusiness, and also some Primezone Academy courses. So there's a lot of content here, and it's very applicable to just different classrooms and your needs, so worth checking out. And finally, Forest Learning and Dairy Australia. If you're looking for sustainable timber production, Forest Learning always have some great resources available, and they're producing some new resources using the very popular carbon tape. So look out for primary and secondary resources aligned with that particular piece of equipment. And Dairy Australia as well, we've been working with them to produce some new resources for their dairy education website, which look fantastic. So lots of things happening, and Sarah's going to go through now some of the up and coming things to look out, which will be coming soon to Primezone. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Sally. During this section of the webinar, I'd like to introduce you to the range of new resources currently in development at PIEFA. They've been produced in collaboration with our member organisations across all of the food and fibre industries. Several will be released in the coming weeks, with others scheduled for release earlier next year. Let's begin with these primary school resources developed on Australian pork. These resources are for years 1 to 6, and there are between 3 and 5 curriculum aligned lessons per year band. They consist of teacher guides and student worksheets, or booklet style student activities. The lessons explore pork production, nutrition, and the farm to fork supply chain. A key feature of these is the integration of the virtual tour of the pork supply chain, which allows students to explore indoor, outdoor and free-range piggeries from the classroom. The resources guide students and teachers through age-appropriate sections of this tour, providing a safe and authentic learning experience for your students. The slide here includes examples of student activities, including worksheets on animal features, a virtual farm visit, and responsible farming practices. Thanks, Sally. For secondary teachers, PIEFA has developed a number of resources for years 7 to 12. For years 7 to 10, lessons align with design and technologies and science and continue the themes of pork production, nutrition and supply chain. These resources include work booklets and case study-based content designed to help students link classroom learning with real industry practice. At the senior secondary level, years 11 and 12, new resources support agriculture and business studies in a unit entitled The Business of Pork Production. These senior materials give students direct insights into economic, production and management aspects of the industry. Thanks, Al. We also have some other resources nearing release. For years 3 to 6, we have produced a lesson on dairy breeds. This is a cross-curricular unit and spans science, design technologies, maths and English learning areas, and introduces students to dairy breeds and core concepts related to dairy production. Cotton Australia's upcoming resources include a Year 7 to 10 lesson on working with data in the Australian cotton industry. This lesson guides students through the role of data in modern cotton production, focusing on how it's collected, the technologies involved, and why accurate data is critical for sustainable and efficient production systems. Teachers are supported in accessing and using industry data online with practical strategies for embedding these data sets into learning activities. A pre-recorded webinar will also accompany this lesson, providing additional guidance and support for teachers. As well as this lesson, there's also a new classroom poster in the pipeline, illustrating the biology and life cycle of the cotton plant, and that will be available soon. We're also working with the Fisheries Research and Development Corporation, and we'll be releasing 2 live online professional development webinars with industry professionals on how to set up one-way recirculating aquaculture systems in schools. Another resource coming soon focuses on Australia's wine industry. For Year 5 to 6 students, they're able to explore a case study on breeding to develop grapevines that are resistant to mildew and suited to a changing climate. In the Year 7 to 10 resources, students examine an active research project into breeding mildew-resistant varieties and consider how sustainability, innovation and long-term resilience underpin the future of wine production in Australia. Thanks, Al. PIEFA, there's 2 others on this slide. PIEFA is also developing a suite of new 7 to 10 resources centred on pollination, designed to help students understand the critical role that pollination plays in food and fibre production. And these materials also have clear links with sustainability and emerging career opportunities in the sector. We're also updating the Australian Good Meat education resources. The revision includes updated national statistics and curriculum alignment across states and territories. At the moment, it's currently aligned to the Australian curriculum, but it will be great when all of those states and territories are aligned as well. We'll also be offering a series of industry-focused online professional development opportunities throughout next year, along with a new careers resource to encourage students to explore pathways within the red meat sector. Thanks, Sally. Another project we've been working on with Australian Pork Limited is the Pigs in Schools resources for Years 7 to 10. This includes a full teacher guide with answers and a set of comprehensive student activities in booklet form designed to support participation in the Pigs in Schools competition, but could equally be used to support a unit on pig production. Topics span animal husbandry, enrichment practices, innovation and technology, and career pathways in the pork industry. Thank you. And just finally, I'd like to wrap up our coming soon section by highlighting our new resources, which will be released as online learning modules through Primezone Academy. These popular free e-learning courses can be used really flexibly by students and teachers. We have 3 upcoming courses on red meat processing for Years 5 to 6, 7 to 10 and Years 9 to 10. We have 1 course exploring Australian sugarcane production for Years 9 to 10, a Cotton Australia Working with Data course for Years 7 to 10, a fisheries course designed for teachers on setting up a recirculating aquaculture system, and a course on winter wheat and some of sunflowers for the younger students for Foundation to Year 2. To hear about when these and other new resources are released, if you haven't already, we encourage you to subscribe to PIEFA's monthly newsletter using the URL on the screen, or you can scan that QR code to sign up as well.
Thanks, Sarah. That's great. So I'll leave that QR code up just for a moment if people are using that at the moment. We do have a little bit of time at the end to, if you've got any questions about any of the resources, whether they're current ones or ones that are coming up, to pop any questions in the chat, which Sarah's going to keep an eye on at the moment. But if there's something that comes up later, please feel free to reach out to us and we can get back to you or arrange one-on-one session online or on the phone. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the webinar, and hopefully that Ag Day is a real success with how you're implementing it in the classroom and the kids have a great time. Ready when we're ready to go?